opportunity of a decade is back, and that's in the crypto market. You're watching a lot of different signs in the market, and it's the altcoins which is slowly starting to steal the show. And if you are involved in an altcoin and you think the price action there looks interesting, know one thing. Yes, it's true. It's not the market trying to trap you. It is the market showing you a huge opportunity, and the majority will not take it. If the history shows you one thing and it's following it up with the same burst, you would go through this phase most likely here, and a lot of people would argue that's a trap and they'll move out. The price goes up, boom. And when I say this with a lot of confidence. We're watching a lot of different assets doing exceptionally well, and the SI family is taking benefit of all of those. We're in the market. We are watching how things are evolving, and we are taking these opportunities at the right time. When you watch dollar slowing down and crypto moving up, this is your time. If not, when are you going to buy? Are you going to buy at the top? Are you going to buy when the opportunity is almost over? So if you want to go 10x, 20x, 50x leveraged, that's a different story. But if you are an investor, you want to look at the market with an attitude of investor, with the education like an investor. If you do get all of those at the right time, it makes a lot of sense. So there were accounts with 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, giving you a different thought process while we were making this. And I was like, okay, guys, watch this. This is the micro trend line. We discussed this, the exact same thing in the last YouTube video as well. Why did we go through that? Because we wanted to make sure you guys don't misunderstand this. If we do bounce off from this particular level, I consider that as a bullish move. Now, where the hell are we? What can we expect further? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right away, right here, we're going to break things down into an easy pathway so you understand, like, okay, this is what's happening and this is what you should be looking at. So before we jump into the key ideas of the video, let's smash that like button. That supports the growth of the channel. Now we go into a lot of these assets and we are watching them popping, right? They're going through. It looks really good to see altcoin market taking off. Yeah, that is true. In the market, when you're about $2 trillion and you're watching altcoins are stealing the show, they are going through the roof, you're like, okay, what the hell is happening? Can I use this opportunity to improve my portfolio? Can I use this opportunity to stabilize my portfolio and position it in a way that I can benefit from this? Yeah, I think so. I think you can do that. So when we say, yeah, we can do that, what all should you consider? Say this is XRP. This is a micro pattern. We got this pattern. We broke upside. We came back down. We're retesting. Now, a double bottom and a bounce here would be the most attractive scenario for anyone holding XRP. That kind of gives you multiple trend lines breaking to the upside. That kind of gives you multiple different targets. So you have a micro level moving to the upside, which is respecting the medium-term resistance. Fine. So now your measured move is like this. You take this and plot it to the upside. So maybe it's going to come close to 0.7. That means you just measure this move, you plot it to the upside here and argue most likely 0.7 or just above that is where the price is going to end up soon. Not in a year, not in 10 years. What we're looking at is a short-term scenario, obviously. But then when you actually go into the altcoin market, Look at the RSI. It's still in the overbought territory. It's starting to develop a negative divergence. Remember, starting to develop a negative divergence. So I'm like, okay, is that a little bit confusing? Yes, it is, at least for me. But if the RSI do push higher into the new range above 80, which would look like this. At that point, you don't have a negative divergence. What you do have is super bullishness in the market. And when the RSI is here in the overbought territory on a weekly, in the overbought territory on a monthly, on an overbought territory on a daily, you're watching that on all of these horizons, literally, buyers are outbidding the sellers. And that kind of literally gives us a clear idea that the market is doing something. Now, if there is a lot of noise in the market and you cannot understand what the market is trying to convey, do this. Go on a line chart, reduce the noise, go for the candle close. That's the confirmation of how that day ended. Take that, go forward. If you do see a pattern that helps you, it's a bull flag, it broke to the upside, that looks great. So if you are a bull in this market, now you're like, okay, this is the monthly, it's just getting started, you're traveling to the upside. Remember, when we were here, that's in August, June, July, August, you go back in the YouTube and watch those videos, I was arguing the fact that this is most likely scenario. Right now, we watch that it is happening in front of us. So when are we going to get this high momentum phase? Are we entering into that region? Can we go this high? Now remember, this is all coins excluding Ether, right? So when you put Ether into the picture, this is what you're looking at. Okay, any burst here to the upside is going to be super, super interesting. That means once you break this, retest and a bounce, that's where a lot of FOMO enters. The MACD is to the upside, RSI is to the upside, price action itself is super bullish. Now, obviously, you go back looking at Bitcoin because that kind of shows what the market is doing. Bitcoin consolidating in this range gives you an understanding that money flow is moving out. New money is coming in and it's now being attracted to the altcoins, or now more money is coming into the altcoins. This is what we really want to see. So we directly jump onto the Bitcoin dominant side to ask the question like, okay, did we get this? Yeah, we talked about this for like 3-4 days. Now we're starting to look like it's slowing down a little bit, but we need to see the moving average being broken to the downside. That's a good sign for those who are involved in the altcoin market. So now, if you do look at this and you're like, okay, I understand short-term scenarios are showing us these, and I believe that the upside is coming soon, what would you look at as a resistance? So if it's me, I would argue like, okay, maybe we have a level of resistance here. So when the price actually bounces back up, it would come close to 1.07. Now that's a new local high or a new all-time highs for 2023, 2024 time or after March 2022. So we're literally taking 2 years to reach $1. That's depressing for sure. Now a lot of people can hold on to an asset, accumulate that asset and watch this doing, sideways movement for this long. But then at one point, it just goes parabolic, which is that point. Is it $1 mark? Is it $2 mark? We'll have to see how the market is reacting because your RSI is still not at the overbought territory or anyway close to that. So you have a long way to the upside before you see a huge pop. So maybe it's $2 where we'll actually start watching these pop. Then you zoom in. The daily chart shows you the RSI is now getting closer to that level. You're at 60. From 70, it will look really great. So that means maybe after $1, you'll start getting that on a short-term scenario. Some FOMO. But yeah, it's not just XRP. We'll have to look at multiple assets in the payments industry to see whether they all agree with this scenario. Most of them, at least, does agree with that. You're watching the hidden bullish divergence and literally that playing out as we expected. And some of the reasons why we had these trades at the right time in the right assets, it was literally because we understood that the market was trying to convey something. So think about this. You just got a candle close. That's a weekly candle close and a daily, obviously. When you do look at them, what do you understand? At least this is what I see. The moving average is tilted to the upside. It's pointing you to the upside. Perfect. The candle which closed had increasing bullishness compared to the last one. Then I go look at the volume candle. And the volume is like, yeah, the bullishness did increase. So more bulls came into the market and they were able to push the price to the upside easily. Sellers are slow or they are weak. That's all we want to know. Don't confuse yourself. Don't make this super complicated. There will be a lot of different guys who will try to break things into a different arena with secret indicators saying, guys, the market is going down. But unless the market shows you that the trend is now negative, you don't have to go negative. Because the market is a place where it kind of confuses each and every one of us. And that's exactly where you need to look at the recent past. Say, let me ask you this. We had this level as a resistance. Yeah, we stayed below that level for a long time. When we broke that level, we got these two giant candles. Perfect. After that two candles, what followed was this candle. That's a weekly. You did almost nothing in that week. But did we go back down after that? That's why I'm asking if you can back test with all of this. That's where you kind of get an idea. Okay, this was a resistance. You broke through that. You now have two really good candles in the bullish sentiment. And now maybe we'll get 1 week, which is a little bit slower. Now, as of now, this is just a speculation from my end after analyzing the recent past of Bitcoin itself. But as soon as you zoom out and start looking at a monthly chart, remember, there was a lot of guys in the market saying this was it. Now, where are we? There's a monthly candle. We still have like another 10 days to go. So you're watching that the market is literally breaking through this range. They would put different argument that this time the bulls are really stronger than we expected. Yeah, what else do you think is going to happen when your monthly RSI is about to enter this level? Guys, watch 2 months back, 3 months back. I was repeating the same thing. Watch. The RSI is looking to the upside. It's going towards the overbought territory. I literally went on explaining all of these tops, each and every tops. When the Bitcoin dominance was starting to drop, you already had the RSI of Bitcoin here in the overbought territory. We are nowhere close to that. But right now, you are entering that range. The question then becomes like, okay, historically speaking, when we do enter that territory, how long do we have after that? So the last scenario shows here was 120 days. So do we really have 6 months? That's a big question to ask yourself. That's not a small thing. Because here, say for example, next time you entered back, it took 244 days. So it was kind of, cut in half the next time. Fine, we go back. We would like to go as much back as possible to get as much more information as possible. So the top here came in 365 days. So each and every time, now here we don't get to see when it entered to the upside, but based on these info, we can kind of say like, okay, this would most likely be the area where we entered. So it was like 395 days, 365 days, 244 days, 120 days. If that's true, then we may not have that long. Maybe it's going to be 90 days. Maybe it's going to be 60 days. We're getting cut in half, right? So if we are entering here in Feb, most likely by May or June, that's done. You don't have too much room after that, right? So if Bitcoin is about to complete this phase here, this is, remember, Feb, you have March, April, 2 months, which is key months in this year for this bull run. And if you do see altcoins going crazy on a weekly basis, altcoin going crazy on a monthly basis, and you think, I didn't see that coming. It's not true. There were a few guys in the market who were steady, who were consistent, who were explaining things as clear as possible so that you guys take benefit of this in this market. You waited for 3 years for what? This. So you don't want to miss this. And at that time, if you need some help, SI Family is now here, 1,000 members strong, and SI Family is giving you all of these. When I take these trades, you get to see where I take that trade. When I close that trade, you get to see this. So if you want that part, or if you want to go one-on-one with me on your portfolio, get my thought process on your portfolio based on which assets you have, how you have spread your asset in terms of different segments, and the ratios between that, look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description in YouTube or in the bio of Twitter. And guys, if you haven't smashed the like button yet, let's do that. Let's obliterate that. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.